Many thanks to you for having joined us on Aneke Television today. Yes, this is the platform where we always meet to take on burning issues and matters which affects us as people in society. Yes, here we host analysts and guests who come to give us their own take on these issues and matters, just to keep you informed, educated, and enlightened more and better. My name is Chris Anibal. Thanking you for having joined us today. Of course, on the show today, we want to look at security situation in Enugu State. Everything revolves around security. Yet, insecurity seems to be plaguing the entire world as of today. You understand that there is insecurity crisis everywhere. It is not one form of war between one nation or the other, as we now witness between Israel, Iran, United States, even between Russia, Ukraine, that has been ongoing for years now. And these are more. But then coming down to Nigeria, insecurity is everywhere. The entire northeast, northwest, and then recently north central states of Benue, Plateau. And this has equally trickled down to the southeastern states as well. And Enugu is not left out. But today we're going to know the extent to all of these insecurity issues and crises. And what is the government efforts at combating them so that lives and property could be secured. And to help us do analysis of this important discussion today on Aneke Television, the senior special assistant to the governor of Enugu State on new media, in the person of Dr. Reuben Onyishi. Doc, you're welcome to Aneke Television.
Please, thank you for having me.
And thank you for obliging our call each time we call on you.
Thank you.
All right, dear viewers, sit back as the show progresses. Dr. Onyishi, you will agree with me that the primary responsibility of every government is the security, the protection of the lives and property of its citizenry. I wouldn't know. What is the security situation in Enugu State as of today?
Well, the security situation in Enugu, as you know, is that Enugu is arguably the safest place to live in Nigeria. You understand, because of what His Excellency has done. Like you acknowledge that insecurity is something that is rife all over the world, and then in Nigeria, the northeast, northwest, and everywhere. All right, but right from when this government came in, we recognize the fact that security is important if the governor must achieve his manifesto. Which, as a matter of fact, there are three aspects of this manifesto.
Go ahead, talk to us.
Number one, to make Enugu the first choice of investment destination, and then to raise the GDP from $4.4 billion to $30 billion, and then to reduce poverty headcount index to 0% level. So are the three things. And then to achieve this, you must get it right with security, because investors can take other risks. They can take financial risks, they can take commercial risks and other risks, but they cannot take security risks.
That's right.
So when the governor came in, the first thing he did was to stop sit at home with its attendance effect on the economy and then the security implication of it. You know, that time people were being killed, people were afraid, people weren't coming out, all manner of things. Do you understand? But the governor came and said, no, this is one situation up with which we shall never put. So he put an end to it, made sure it was stopped. In fact, as a matter of fact, he supervised it. You recall then that we were going from shop to shop, making sure that people open. Do you understand? And then it wasn't just like we were going to make sure that people open, but we were also taking care of the fact that nobody could come into this Enugu and do anything. Do you understand? And you saw that how that panned out. Then apart from that, His Excellency now decided to rev up the security situation by first of all establishing the DRS. You know why? Immediately it came in, the DRS was recruited, and then they started training them. After
that's a distress
response
squad. Okay.
Then brought in almost about 300 vehicles. You understand? Equipped with AI embedded surveillance camera. You understand? Installed camera in all nooks and crannies of the state, strategic locations. Do you understand? Then set up the command and control center, from where the entire state is monitored. You understand? And this AI embedded camera help to in the area of surveillance, in the area of communication and policing. You understand? And you could see that that is actually paying off. You understand? Because the entire Enugu is monitored. In fact, I was at the Command and Control Center. I saw for myself, when I got there, I saw Pugogo Road, real time, vehicles passing. I saw Four Corners, I saw places being monitored. Do you understand? So His Excellency was prepared for security. And it is paying off. Forget about fake news. All right? Forget about fake news.
Which is fake news now?
Fake news, because at times people will generate these things to create fear, and there are some politicians who are hell-bent on rubbishing because they know that security is the governor's special fault, that the governor has achieved tremendously well in security. So what they want to rubbish it, and then they sponsor people. They will be doing content saying that people are being killed here, people are being killed there. They will generate old videos, get things that happened in the past long ago, and then reenact them as though they happen now. Then they will do things that happened elsewhere. They will bring them in and say it's happening in Enugu. We saw so many of them. Some of them are even confessing now. You saw that? Did you see that on social media? People, they are confessing that they were sorry. They said they were sorry. You were sorry, but you have generated fear. You have made people begin to panic. You understand? Or think, and then the shocking effect, the trauma for all that, and some of them have been taken to court, the court will take care of that. Yes, because it's quite very wrong,
All right.
So Enugu is, like I said, is arguably the safest place. In fact, it has even been I forgot the name, but they carried out a research showing that Enugu is the safest place to live in Nigeria.
Okay, in as much as we applaud the current government in Enugu for its strides in ensuring that security infrastructure is adequately in place,
it is
the
world
command
class.
and control, the DRS, the cameras everywhere. But then, are we going to dispute the fact that there are pockets of criminal activities, especially in some very rural local areas in the state, talking about places like Uzuwa and the local government, Isuzu, where we got recent reports of herdsmen attack after the Benue incident. We got report from issues of attack also on the good people of Isuzu local government. Are we saying these are not real?
All right. Well, number one is that even America, with world-class security infrastructure, gets pockets of breaches.
That's right.
You understand? So it is unexpected. They are there from time to time. But what we are saying is that if not for what this government has done, it would have been terrible. You understand? Now, Isuzu 1 is your place. You even know what the local government chairman is doing in Isuzu. You saw that immediately that issue of Isuzu 1. You understand? The governor, DRS, is on patrol at Isuzu 1. Patrol length and breadth of Isuzu 1. Making
at the moment now.
At the moment, and you can see it now with the chairman. You understand? I know they had issues. Header issues with the people, which you understand, but at least to guarantee the safety of life and property, the DRS is on ground. Even the CSO, the government house, is living at Uzo 1 now.
At the moment.
Yes, because of security issues. So what we do is that when we get intelligence of this thing, it's not as though we don't have intelligence of them. So we get intelligence and then we move swiftly to avert it. That's what this government has been doing. All right? Even at Ihamufu, you understand? It was Hamufu. I really don't want to talk about that. But one thing I want to say is that human life is very important. You have no right to kill anybody, whether Fulani or Igbo, whether outside. You have no right to kill anybody. People you see, your fellow human being, you butcher them and kill them. It is very, very bad and condemnable. And those who are doing this should desist from it. Whether you are killing a Fulani or killing an Igbo person, it is wrong. It is quite very, very reprehensible. It shouldn't be condoned anywhere. It's condemnable. And our heart goes to the families of those who are killed. But all I want to tell you is that government got information and acted swiftly, blocked the entire place so that these people cannot come in. But they now resorted to soft targets across the borders and started killing people across the borders. But like I said, I don't want to talk about that because there are so many issues involved. Do you understand? Where we got it right and where we got it wrong is a different thing altogether. But let us understand that human life is sacred and nobody should be killed for any reason.
Because as a matter of fact, the whole world wept bitterly in tears over the incident that happened that occurred in Benue State, that even had to draw the attention of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that took him down to Benue to commiserate with the people of Benue.
Yes.
And when the issues or incident actually came up, yes, personally, I went on investigation some time ago to see things for myself at Ihamufu in issues when the first report of headers attack on women and rape and the rest. But when we got there, we realized that the whole thing was overblown at the onset.
Yes.
We came back and reported.
Yes. Okay, you were part of the people, journalists.
Yes, of course. Okay. We went there on investigation. Yeah. So when this last report came that another attack had been launched, killing where about a number of lives were reportedly said to have been lost, we even began to hear of helicopter bringing in invaders and marauders, to attack the people.
So why would the helicopter come? Maybe because the place had been blocked.
So I wouldn't know. So that's why we said, let's get across to you, at least so you hear from the government side these things, because we understand that we have a very porous border across Nigeria. And Enugu State has a very close boundary with part of the north central, talking about Kogi. Uswani has boundary with Kogi.
Yes.
And I think a part of issues also with Benue.
Yes.
So we think it's going to be easy for these marauders to actually find their way into that part of the state.
No, it wasn't actually easy for them to find their way. But there were, a lot of issues were involved. You understand? So if you are found to have killed their own people, and they are coming on reprisal and things like that, but all I can say is that government blocked off the entire area. You understand? Then they resorted to soft targets across the border. That was what happened. But it was quite unfortunate. And then the killing of anybody, killing of Fulani, or the killing of the Igbo, is quite unfortunate. You have no right. You have no right to do that. We're talking about human beings. We're talking about flesh and blood. Chris, as I'm looking at you, which I know, as I strike you now, if I strike you now, I will feel it as a human being.
Because you've got the conscience.
Yeah, so it's terrible.
A lot of persons out there today really lack that conscience.
It's quite terrible. It's quite terrible. It's quite terrible and condemnable. But all I can say is that Enugu is quite very safe. Quite very safe. So no matter what happens, those pockets of attacks, you understand. The only thing is that things like when you go, you find out that things are blown out of proportion. There are people who are ready to say that Mba or everything Mba, because they saw that Mba has done a lot in terms of security. So they want to commit suicide because Enugu is free.
Okay, we're going to pause here on the part one of this discussion. We're going to go on this short break. But when we return, we'll continue the conversation with Dr. Reuben Onyishi on the security situation in Enugu State. Please don't go away. The part two returns. Viewer, thanks for joining us and the continuation of the discussion with the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Reuben Onyishi, on the security situation in Enugu State. Thanks for joining us again. I remain Chris and Igbo. Yes, Doc, in continuation of our discussion with you on the security issues in the state, yes, we understand the command and control center is there. We understand the DRS has been empowered with security AI security,
Surveillance
surveillance cameras embedded, and the rest of them. We have security cameras, at strategic points in the state. But recently something happened. A report came from a part of the state, Enugu local government to be precise, where ritual killing by one certain Obieze, was discovered by the good people of Enugu as well. And the thing went viral. We understand the man has been apprehended, but talk to us more about it. Is that true, and what has the government done about it in Enugu State?
Well, the issue of Obieze is reprehensible. It's quite unconscionable that that kind of a thing happened, where he was killing people and throwing them as away pit. You understand? And it was uncovered. It was the young girl that he captured. I don't know. Was able to. That girl somehow was able to be rescued, and then from there they found out the atrocities he had been committing. And he was running away, until he was apprehended by immigration officer, whom he tried to compromise by offering 10 million naira, offering iPhone and all that, but the officer stood his ground, and then he was rounded up.
We still have good Nigerians.
Yes, we still have good Nigerians. So he was rounded up, and he's in police custody. I think they are doing an investigation. But it is a terrible thing. It is a terrible thing, and I don't know what is leading us into that kind of a thing. You see, this
get-rich-quick syndrome.
Maybe get-rich-quick syndrome, greed and all that. You understand? Leading people to that kind of a thing. You understand? It's terrible. It's a very terrible thing. Unheard of thing. It's unheard of. And I don't know. The society is degenerate. The society in which we live, people, for want of money, for want of material things, that are going haywire, and it is terrible. It is quite terrible. I don't know, but God will help us.
God will, but
yes,
we also need to do our own bit. I don't know what the government has done so far with.
The first thing government did was, if for instance your house is found to be used as a harbor for criminals or for kidnapping activities, the first thing is to raise it down. That's the law. And it was done at Ogun and other places.
Okay.
So the first thing the government did was to raise down the structures that he was putting up, or he had put up. You understand? He was demolished.
Okay.
He demolished the whole thing. You understand? And then efforts were made to, because immediately he got, he ran away now. He was caught in Lagos.
Yes, trying to cross the border.
He was caught. So these are the things. But one thing that thing has also done is that all the people, native doctors in Enugu, they are all confessing. They are all taking oaths that they have. The person will come and say, "I've never killed anybody before. If I have killed this, let this one kill me. Let other one."
Is that not subject to investigation?
Anyway, but even at that, Enugu State has already sent a bill. You understand, to the House of Assembly.
Okay.
You understand, to a bill that will take care of that kind of ritual killing. I think I discussed that bill on radio the other time. Do you understand? And the provisions, like if you are found, your house is found to be used for this, the fine and then the terms. If you are found to be into ritual and it was proved, you be 20 years imprisonment or something. A lot of I don't really have the particulars of that law, that bill now, but it is being considered by the House of Assembly. You understand? So that it will take care of all these issues. You understand? If you are found, if you are caught, like those practicing Ezenwai and Ezenwoke, first of all, you have to be registered. If you are a native doctor, you have to be registered with an agency of the state government that will now monitor, because there are herbalists. There are herbalists, those in Borogunagbakuko. You understand?
Because the worry in society is,
yes,
if the government, because of what has been discovered to have happened in Enugu, the ritual killing,
yes,
we know, we accept the fact that could just have been one in a series of millions of other incidences going on out there. But then, yes, of course, somebody must be a culprit. So in his case, yes, of course. But the concern out there is, with what the position the government has taken, pushing a bill to the House of Assembly to be considered as law.
Yes.
Are we going to say we want to ban activities of traditional worship, traditional religion?
That's what I'm saying. That first of all, you have to register. The bill says you have to register with the agency of the state government. You understand? So that they will know what you are doing. The government will be abreast of what you are doing. You understand? If you are a herbalist, we know whom you are healing. There are some herbalists, those who heal stroke, those who heal all manner of ailments like issue of fertility and all that, people who deal in that. We want to know what you are doing. You understand? Even religious organizations. You remember the one that happened at Ibagwaka?
Okay.
Where some pastor, so-called pastor, used their piece. They say he killed up to 3 children belonging to the same parents. Killed them for ritual. You understand? You know about that now. So if you have a religion, you have a church or something like that, we have to know what you are doing. And when you are found to be using your church to defraud people, to do all manner of terrible things, why are you in that body? Do this, go and do this, go and do that. If you are discovered, there are provisions for punishment for that. Do you understand? So it's not as though government wants to phase out herbalists. Okay. No. There are people who really are using their herbs to heal. You understand? But there are native doctors who hide under it and perpetrate evil. There are also pastors who hide under religion and perpetrate crime. So that's why the law is there. You understand? These things has to be regulated. So if we know what you are doing, from time to time we check to make sure that it is what you told us you are doing, that you are doing. That's the essence of the law.
All right. All right.
And it is built on the hindsight of what has happened. You understand? The so-called ritual killings and all that, which we are beginning to experience. And those who practice Ezenwanyi and all these things, we have to know what you are doing. You understand?
Sometimes they say they are going back to the roots of our forefathers. And is that part of our culture?
Okite and Odeshi. You understand? Those who practice Okite and Odeshi. Because if you practice Odeshi to protect yourself, I don't think the law is not against that. But when you are practicing this Odeshi
at the expense of another person's life,
you do it so that you will get escape from crime, that when they shoot you, it will not enter and all that. We will find out. And those who are doing money rituals, you understand? They say, we have to find out those things. That's why the government is out to regulate it. Okay. It has to be regulated.
So the long and short is that the government is not silent at all over these incidences and issues in Enugu State.
No.
All right, Dr. Reuben Onyishi, the signals are coming that we should be rounding off, and I wouldn't know. We'll still have a lot to talk about. Now, the final assurances I want to get from you. Yes, the command and control center is watching everywhere. Can we begin to, is it possible for us to begin to have, how do I put this now? For us to begin to have maybe pictures, okay? Maybe pictures coming from the camera, okay? So that we could begin to even circulate them. Let it begin to go viral so that many will be better convinced, other than you and I telling them that we have
pictures,
maybe pictures from the cameras, maybe footages. You understand what I mean? Footages.
Why? What are you being convinced? It's not something that is being done to convince them. Everybody knows. When you people, that before you visited the Hamufu that time, you people came to the command and control center.
That's right.
And you saw for yourself.
And we are telling them. But then not everybody are privileged to come into the government and so seeing that.
Well, if you are not seeing it, doesn't change the fact that it is there. You understand? And it's working. So it is of no issue at all for us to have pictures, so that what will happen. Security, in the first place, security is not something that you even say everything to the public. You understand? Security is something that you have to be careful what you share out there. You understand? You don't share, because if we tell you all that this government is doing and you share out there, criminals will find a way to circumvent it and circumvent it. You understand? And do all that. So we don't give out everything. You understand? But you saw Mba on His Excellency on helicopter the other day. You understand? And a whole lot is ongoing. It's not. We are not joking with security in Enugu State. We are not. If anybody told you that we are joking, we are not joking.
So that assurance is what I want you to tell the world.
Yes,
you are right.
That is the assurance that I'm giving you the assurance. When they talked about all those people killing those who come out on Monday, sit at home and all that, did anything now? But for fake news that they are circulating and all these things, I can assure you that Enugu is safe.
Enugu is safe.
Very, very safe.
And it's good for business as well.
Yeah, it's good for business. So neglect all those fake news and those who are perpetrating them. Those who if you want to be governor, go and buy form and contest if you want to contest. The law allows you to contest. But for you to come and start rubbishing what the government is doing, circulating fake news and all that, you can't achieve anything with that. You understand? Because already Ndi Enugu know that this government is game, that this government is performing in all ramifications. They know, and they can say it.
So Ndi Enugu knows the words of Dr. Reuben Onyishi, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Enugu State on new media. You've heard from the mouth of the horse telling us that Enugu is safe, giving us the assurances and reassurances that we should be confident in this government and administration under Governor Peter Mba to secure our lives and property. Certainly a good place to leave this discussion today. We hope to have you on more burning issues that has to do with the government.
It's all right. Please.
Thank you very much for availing us your time.
Thank
so
you
viewer, this is the much we'll take. My name is Chris and I will be saying please, as we go, keep watching Aneke Television. Bye for now.